What does it take to be an entrepreneur?
When you wake up early in the morning thinking about, your vision that you have.
Whenever you choose to set up any form of business, you have to be passionate about it.
You literally want something to be successful.
To be successful in entrepreneurship.
Realize they needed to go to school to learn the profession.
Meet the brains behind the business.
Wait for that money to come, and you must have a budget.
And one of the mistakes when they try to be entrepreneurs is they jump into it a little bit too early.
If I don't know, then I know a lot of people don't know.
Mind your own business. This program provides the platform for budding entrepreneurs to initialize, educate, and develop ideas emerging into the global stage of the economy. Stay tuned on this station for Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. Are you a budding entrepreneur or in pursuit to start your own business? Mind Your Own Business provides great tips and sheds more light on the success stories of some established entrepreneurs. Mind Your Own Business is also giving away 100,000 Naira weekly to 2 lucky winners, plus entry for the grand prize draw of 500,000 Naira. But first, to be part of this, you have to open and fund an existing UBA Lion Prime basic account with 20,000 Naira or more. Stay tuned for weekly questions coming your way, and remember to send your name, location, and correct answers via our Twitter handle at MYOBizNigeria with the hashtag MYOBizNigeria. Mind Your Own Business is brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
This is Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
Good morning, you're listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. I am Wole Famirewa. It's always a pleasure to talk entrepreneurship in a difficult time like Nigeria is going through at the moment. And my guest today will bring some really valuable perspective on what it takes to be an entrepreneur. But even beyond that, we would like to be looking at the theme beyond making money. What are the motivations of an entrepreneur beyond profit? And my guest today is Lolu Akinwunmi. He's the CEO of Prima Garnet. Thank you so much, Lolu, for joining us today.
Thank you, Wole, for inviting me to your program.
All right, so let us explore your experience as an entrepreneur, and let's go back like we like to do on this program. So where did it all begin for you?
Thank you. The only thing I've done all my life is advertising, primarily speaking. And I started out in Lintas in 1982. And in those days, Lintas virtually owned all of the advertising business in Nigeria.
Right.
Seriously speaking. I moved to a smaller agency on a higher position.
Okay.
And all I wanted to do was just remain a professional technocrat. But being in PromoServe provided an opportunity to do something differently. There were ethical issues, and so I couldn't remain in PromoServe. Which means if I felt so strongly about those things, I needed to go out and do them and prove them. And so that's why.
So was that your primary motivation to start your business?
That was my primary motivation.
Okay.
Of course, if you were going to talk to shareholders, you didn't sell that alone. You also wanted to sell to them the values of good business, returns on investment, all of the usual stuff. But driving that, of course, was the need to do business in a certain way,
right,
and do it properly.
Right.
So that's why we set out in 1992.
Okay, and you obviously saw an opportunity. Talk us through what your experience has been building a business like Prima Garnet.
It was a tough period to start out. I mean, the leading big agencies were there, Lintas, Insights, all of them. The younger ones like S1U and Co. there, but it was pretty competitive. We had a good economy going.
Yeah.
And we went in, and it's the kind of business where you really can't advertise yourself. Everywhere we went, there was already another agency. And so we decided to run a double spread ad. And all we showed were briefs, underwears, pants for men and women. And we simply titled it, "We Take Your Briefs to Town." Of course, we meant the advertising brief.
Sure.
It got 2 responses. Some hated it and said, "How could you show..." And we chose Sunday deliberately. How could you show such a thing on Sunday? Others loved it and wanted to work with us. And really, that ad gave us our first break. And we haven't looked back since then.
Right. So there was that edge about getting out there and doing something differently. And speak to the creativity that it takes to be successful in advertising.
Advertising is all about creativity. expressing simple things in unusual ways, different ways, communicating the values of a person or a product, a service to a big and larger audience. Like I told you, the environment was thick. It was overpopulated. So we needed to be different. We needed to do the usual things, but differently, but in a very, very exciting way. We managed to do that, and we've been doing all of that since then. We started with one agency, and now we have 4 in the group, and we've had our casualties, but it hasn't been too bad.
Right. And what would you say is the prospect for advertising under the current economic environment? Everybody's talking about recession now. Is it still an interesting place to be?
Advertising is the first casualty when you have a recession, because either people don't have anything to sell or people don't have the money to buy what they want to sell. The situation in Nigeria now is manufacturing companies don't have enough to manufacture. It's a terrible situation, and quite a few agencies have gone down or are going down at this point in time. Our economy is big and resilient. It's a matter of time we'll come back. And the biggest impetus for trade is still advertising. It's what brings the consumer on one hand and the service or product provider on the other. Nigeria is too big. The demand for goods and services is too big. You need your agency in between to bring the two groups together.
And it is definitely an evolving industry. I mean, in this tech age, social media and so forth, what's the future of that for you?
Advertising must evolve with the environment. In my days in Lintas, the agency was monolithic. Media, PR, everything under a modest roof of 210 people. There is no agency in Nigeria that can sustain 210 people now. It's going to be too expensive. So you've had a lot of fragmentation. You mentioned social media. All of those services we had as departments have ended up as individual services.
Like a bit of a subsector of the bigger
it's the
industry.
only way that you can survive and that the industry can
So at the end of the
survive.
day, you really have to pick one part of that pie, if you like.
If you have enough competence, you can invest in as many parts as you have the ability to sustain.
All right. I'm sure we'll talk more about this, but we'll have to get into a break now. And before we do that, as usual, we like our guests to pick a music selection. So what would that be for you?
I like Wizkid's Oju Elegba.
All right. We'll bring that for you and continue this conversation with Lolu Akinwunmi, the CEO of Prima Garnet.
Coming up on Mind Your Own Business.
It's an expensive profession, and we don't want entrepreneurs coming in, putting in all of their money and losing all of those monies. So we managed to achieve all of those.
It's legendary beats.
They know my story. From old dog studio, I be hustle to work. Say, me and Siri. From old dog studio, we been hustle to work. Say, my people dead, my people suffer. Them they pray for blessing. My people dead, them they pray for blessing, for better living. Kilo dale, aye ole tonya o, aye o ni double, adura lo le she o, call on daddy, adura agba, tishu eni badele, afowo boja.
You're listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
Are you a budding entrepreneur or in pursuit to start your own business? Mind Your Own Business provides great tips and sheds more light on the success stories of some established entrepreneurs. Mind Your Own Business is also giving away 100,000 Naira weekly to 2 lucky winners, plus entry for the grand prize draw of 500,000 Naira. But first, to be part of this, you have to open and fund an existing UBA Lion Prime basic account with 20,000 Naira or more. Stay tuned for weekly questions coming your way, and remember to send your name, location, and correct answers via our Twitter handle at MYOBiz Nigeria with the hashtag MYOBiz Nigeria. Mind Your Own Business is brought to you by UBA, Africa's global bank.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's global bank. I'm speaking to Lolu Akinwunmi. He's the CEO of Prima Garnet. Thank you so much for staying with us, sir. And I want to hear more about the growth of advertising and the industry that has really emerged, because at the end of the day, I think more and more people are beginning to consider it as an area they actually want to get into from the get-go. And maybe as you do that, you can help us appreciate what it takes in order to prepare to get into advertising.
For an industry that has been around formally since 1928, it's amazing how little people know about it. The first agency started out in 1928. It was known as West African Publicity. All they did was outdoor to support UAC.
Right.
So advertising started in Nigeria running on the back of UAC, and they eventually set up their agency known as Lintas, which means Lintas Advertising Services. Unilever, part of UAC in Nigeria and all that.
Okay.
And of course, it's grown since then. Then radio came in, television came in, print came in.
Social media, everything.
And so many things that have come in. But the most critical part of it is there is no successful product or individual or service in Nigeria that has not had the benefit of good advertising one way or the other. People didn't know so much about it because we had such a large predominance of radio and TV. Even before South Africa, we had WNTV, WNBS. We had all of those things. So while advertising was always there, was there even before them, people knew more about these other service professions. And so,
all right. So as an entrepreneur who thinks, he has this liking for the industry, how do I prepare? How do I get in?
It is against the law to practice advertising without being a member of APCON.
Okay.
You either need to have the right professional qualifications from the university or a polytechnic in marketing, in mass communication and all that, or you need to sit for the APCON exam. APCON is the Advertising Practitioner Council of Nigeria.
Right.
The federal regulator and parastatal under the Federal Ministry of Information. If you don't go to the university or polytechnic, you can sit for their exam, and that certifies you to practice advertising in Nigeria.
Right. And that speaks to the point that there's an ethic to this, and maybe you can just point that out for us. For those who think they can just get in, and there's actually a rule of the game, if you like.
In the past, everybody went in who had served, who had worked in Daily Times or worked in Radio Nigeria and retired, and simply went and set up an advertising agency. Inevitably, they were not professional, and there were issues. Plus, foreigners would come and just set up anyhow. But it's like your law, it's like your medicine, it's like your engineering. There are rules and there are guidelines. And during my tenure as APCON chairman, we revised the code and produced the 5th code, which thoroughly regulated the practice for Nigerians and foreigners, how you can get in. It's an expensive profession, and we don't want entrepreneurs coming in, putting in all of their money and losing all of those monies.
Right.
So we managed to achieve all of those.
Right. So very, very important message there. But like I mentioned at the top of the show, we really want to explore a theme today, which is beyond making money. I mean, you've been in business for several decades, so you probably appreciate this very much. The profit motive is something that I guess many people are crazy about when they get into business. But I really do believe that there is more to business. And
Absolutely.
Can you just begin to reflect on that? As a business person getting in, what should I be mindful of, and what should I want to get out of business beyond just profits?
First of all, let me quickly add that beyond making money, advertising has a very big social role.
Right.
Any pharmaceutical manufacturer can come and say, this my product cures headache and blindness and all that. Through advertising and outcome, you can't do that. You have to show proof that what you are selling actually delivers on the promises that you are giving. That's the social part of it. But as an entrepreneur, beyond making money, it's nice to be able to sit down and know that a huge government project, a huge government program, something that is touching people and affecting their lives, what is the engine that is driving it is coming from your brain and a couple of your colleagues,
of your team, yeah.
Government idea, NGO ideas, so many things. So it's not really about making money. There are many things that we have done and we're involved with, and we're not even charging people. Things on social mobilization, so things on civics responsibility. We are big on them, and we are not charging anybody for any money at all. We are happy to know that from our contributions, we are helping to set things aright and correct things and create a better future for the country.
Right. What about, this obviously goes beyond advertising, but mentorship, those soft things that you can pass on as an entrepreneur. Let's begin to talk a bit about that.
I'm involved with mentorship and actually have something known as Lolu Akinwunmi Family Foundation. That's at the personal level. At professional level, we host so many universities and higher institutions, students that come in on internship. We host them regularly.
Yeah.
Some of them as young as 14, and we take them through not just the profession, business, how to become entrepreneurs. Many of them are being introduced to advertising for the first time in their lives, how they can become businessmen. We collaborate with radio stations, TV stations. We are very big on mentorship and mentoring.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll definitely explore more of these themes when we come back from this break, but we do have to take a break now. And again, I give you the opportunity to make a music selection. So what will it be this time?
This time it should be Ordinary People by Cobhams.
All right. We'll bring that for you. We're staying local with the music this week. We'll come back after this and give you some more perspective on entrepreneurship with Lolu Akinwunmi. We're back in a moment.
Coming up on Mind Your Own Business.
In whatever area you are going into, you must be very competitive. And what makes you really competitive is what you know that the others don't know.
A child in the distance, playing in the rain, the sweet sound of water flowing away, a construction worker coming home from work, two parents and their children going to church, a happy little baby drools on your shirt. What an extraordinary day. Let us have a world of ordinary people, living life the way God wants us to. And if we have a world of ordinary people, extraordinary things will happen to me and you.
You're listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
Are you a budding entrepreneur or in pursuit to start your own business? Mind Your Own Business provides great tips and sheds more light on the success stories of some established entrepreneurs. Mind Your Own Business is also giving away 100,000 Naira weekly to 2 lucky winners, plus entry for the grand prize draw of 500,000 Naira. But first, to be part of this, you have to open and fund an existing UBA Lion Prime basic account with 20,000 Naira or more. Stay tuned for weekly questions coming your way, and remember to send your name, location, and correct answers via our Twitter handle at MYOBizNigeria with the hashtag MYOBizNigeria. Mind Your Own Business is brought to you by UBA, Africa's global bank.
Welcome back to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's global bank. I've been speaking to Lolu Akinwunmi. He is the CEO of Prima Garnet, and we are moving on to a conversation around beyond making money as an entrepreneur. And I just want you to move on to talk about the opportunity for social advocacy and how you can prepare for that as an entrepreneur. Many people obviously are motivated by profits. They want to be able to have all the luxuries that perhaps they haven't been able to experience up to the time they start the business. But beyond that, there's clearly more that entrepreneurs should do and can do.
Social advocacy is at various levels, but there's one single thing that drives it: interest in a particular thing. For someone like me, I'm interested in civic responsibility. I mean, let's face it, this country has gone through a very bad patch. We have a leadership that's trying to change things around. One of the things I was involved with was that I was the pioneer secretary and CEO of the rebranding project for Nigeria. I worked with Lolu Akinwunmi. I was the first CEO. And unlike previous efforts by other people, we were not talking of advertising. We were looking at how we could change the thinking of Nigerians from inside out. The other efforts, they were advertising to people in America and all that, but nobody spoke to Nigerians. So we started from inside down so that Nigerians could become the best advocates. And what did it involve? We had to start from nursery, primary school, teaching people how to think right and think Nigeria and all of that. I've carried that through. I've got a website for it now. It's a prime interest for me.
And it's quite interesting that you are able to do that because of the skills that you've developed
because of the skills
in advertising. I imagine this is something that we can replicate in any sector that we're in. So even if you're in entertainment,
you can bring the private sector into it. They have a role to play as part of their corporate social responsibility. It's big. That's a piece for everyone, and every government needs it. You can't develop this country alone without a foundational social advocacy, civic responsibility platform.
Right, interesting point. All right, I want you to speak now to our entrepreneurs. We always like our guests to leave them with tips. So what would be the 3 key tips you will leave with entrepreneurs? You've been working for decades. You've experienced a lot, especially in Nigeria. What for you are the 3 most important points you can leave with an entrepreneur?
You make me feel so ancient.
Well, you have been around.
3 things. One is education, and that is knowledge. In whatever area you are going into, you must be very competitive. And what makes you really competitive is what you know that the others don't know.
So you're constantly
what the 2 of you know together, but you can do better. So I always tell everywhere I go to speak that you can't stop learning. You can't stop getting to know enough. In our business, the client pays us as consultants, which means what we are selling to them is knowledge. If they had that knowledge, they wouldn't need us. So at every point in time, I must know more than a bank in that area. I must know more than Coca-Cola is a client. I must know more than GSK. They must look up to me to sell certain products and services as a consultant. The other one is value. Your business must offer value. I mean, you raised key points when we were speaking the other time. It's not all just about money. There must be a corollary to it that beyond making money, this is the value we are adding to the society. They've tried to glamorize that and call it corporate social responsibility. But every business must provide some sort of value to the society, to people, to schools, to young ones, and all that. And the third one is commitment. Without any commitment, the business cannot go on for too long because there'll be very tough and hard times. It doesn't matter how successful you've been, there'll be down times. What's going to make you to go on is that commitment, the belief that this thing I'm doing, I'm on the right track, I'm giving value. Even if things are rough today, I'm committed to it until we turn the corner and then, we're able to face our objectives again. So those are at least the three things that I know have really helped us.
I think three very valuable points for entrepreneurs to think about. Thank you so much for coming in today. We really appreciate the time. Lolu Akinwunmi is the CEO of Prima Garnet, and that ends our show for this week. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another guest giving you some really useful insight into entrepreneurship in Nigeria. My name is Wole Famirewa. Good morning.
For inquiries on Mind Your Own Business, follow on Twitter at MYOB Nigeria and UBA Group, Facebook.com/MYOB Nigeria and Facebook.com/UBA Group, Instagram.com/Mind Your Own Biz Nigeria, or email cfc@ubagroup.com. You can also call UBA CFC on 01-280-8822 or 01-631-9822 and 0700-2255-822. Today's business tips on Mind Your Own Business by Lolu Akinwunmi. Education, value, and commitment. What does it take to be an entrepreneur?
When you wake up early in the morning thinking about, your vision that you have.
Whenever you choose to set up any form of business, you have to be passionate about
You
it.
literally want something to be successful.
To be successful in entrepreneurship.
Realize they needed to go to school to learn the profession.
Meet the brains behind the business.
Wait for that money to come, and you must have a budget.
One of the mistakes when they try to be entrepreneurs is they jump into it a little bit too early.
If I don't know, then I know a lot of people don't know.
Mind Your Own Business. This program provides the platform for budding entrepreneurs to initialize, educate, and develop ideas emerging into the global stage of the economy. Stay tuned on this station for Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. Are you a budding entrepreneur or in pursuit to start your own business? Mind Your Own Business provides great tips and sheds more light on the success stories of some established entrepreneurs. Mind Your Own Business is also giving away 100,000 Naira weekly to 2 lucky winners, plus entry for the grand prize draw of 500,000 Naira. But first, to be part of this, you have to open and fund an existing UBA Lion Prime basic account with 20,000 Naira or more. Stay tuned for weekly questions coming your way, and remember to send your name, location, and correct answers via our Twitter handle at MYOBizNigeria with the hashtag MYOBizNigeria. Mind Your Own Business is brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
That was Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA,